Oh, guess what? Guess what, man? We are back. We are absolutely back. No, man, I've been working, been driving so much. I'm talking like went to Chicago and then to Ohio and then to Wisconsin and then to Missouri and then now we're in Iowa. We're loading going to back to Vegas. So, but between those all of those load, I was actually able to squeeze a play or a session up there in Columbus, Ohio. Hey, that's a nice casino. The theme, I like the theme. I mean, I was only able to get like maybe 6 or 8 second shot of the whole place, because the whole place is like it's one big room, and you know how the casino don't like cameras and whatnot. Anyway, somebody pointed out on the on the comments, man, I talk too much, man. In that essence, let's do this. So this hand, you're gonna have to help me out, right? This first hand we're gonna discuss. Actually, the first hand that we had was pocket tens, and I called the guy all very first hand, and I called him all the way to the river, and the tens were good. Anyway, I didn't get to record them. That was the very first hand. I didn't even set my phone down and stuff like that. Anyway, this hand, pocket threes, right? We are under the gun, and I opened it to $18. The table was pretty loose, so I opened it to $18. Sure enough, I got 6 callers on $18. The flop came 8-10-3. All right, now I got an aggressive player, loose aggressive, very loose aggressive to my right. So he took the lead and bet $25, $100 something in the pot, and he bets $25, right? So less than 25% of the pot, and now this could get ugly. I got 4 people to act behind me. What do you do? Normally I would just call there. I would just float there, right? Over $130 in the pot. And at this point, I'm ready to take down this pot. So I 3-bet to 75 and everybody else folds. Now, the reason why I 3-bet to 75 is, like I said, I got 4 people to act behind me, and I'm looking at 10 and an 8, and I know it's a rainbow flop, but you got 6 people in this pot. I don't think I wanted anybody to catch up, and I wanted to isolate. He's loose aggressive. I thought he would call the extra $50, but I guess he didn't. So maybe he didn't have anything. I don't know. Maybe he was just stabbing at it, but he was too small. If I called that $25, everybody behind me would call because they are pot committed. Anyway, you'll have to help me out on this one. What would you do in this situation? Like I said, under the gun, we flop a set, the bottom set, and you got 4 people to act behind you, and you got an aggressor to your right. What do? I 3-bet, and everybody folds. So you could probably go either way on that, flat or 3-bet, but I was happy to take down the pot at that time. So this next hand we're gonna talk about, I got an ace king off, and I'm at the cutoff. So you got like 3 people limping into the pot. So I opened the bet to $18, and we got a small blind. Now, mind you, I've been playing in this game now for probably at this point probably about an hour 20, maybe an hour and 40 minutes, or close to 2 hour mark. So small blind hasn't played too many hands at all. If anything, maybe 2 the most within those 2 hours. So, and he 3-bets me to $48. He folds all the way around to me, and I asked him, do you mind moving your hand? I want to see what you got behind. And he actually pushed all his chips almost across the line. I was like, okay. That's an indication for me. To me, that's an indication that he is very, very strong. So at this point, I put him on ace king, pocket aces, pocket kings, right? I think he could possibly have pocket queens here. I don't think pocket jacks is his range here. I don't think that's part of his range here. So I just went ahead and called. Just the way he pushed those chips in, it seemed like he was getting ready to go all in. He was probably about 230 effective, and I was about 480, maybe 460. The flop was like 9 high. It was like 9-9 deuce. He let out again and went all in right away without even looking at the flop, like thinking about it at all. So I was like, I'm probably beat here. So I went ahead and fold. I fold faced up, and he didn't even bother looking at my cards. So another thing is that when about a few hands later, he kind of did almost similar, but with ace 10. Okay, good deal. You got 15 minutes. Can you give him 30? He's probably not coming back. Okay. So this next hand is a little bit interesting now. You're gonna like this one. You're gonna get a kick out of this one. So I've got a king queen of diamond, and we're at the cutoff. There's a straddle from the button, so the small blind calls, the big blind calls, and under the gun calls. So I open it up to $35, and everybody folds except for the small blind. Now, mind you, the small blind has been it's been pretty needy. He's been talking about, oh man, I just folded 2 pairs. Oh man, I just made it straight. Oh man, those kind of guy. Anyway, so he calls an additional $30, and the flop come ace 7-10 rainbow. Now, I think that's a pretty good flop for us. I mean, he could be holding an ace, but we are showing a pretty good signal that we were pretty strong. So, to my surprise, he actually let out. I wanted to see what he was gonna do on the turn, and the turn came another ace, and then he bet right away $35, and then I paused for a second. I wanted to bomb it, and then he said, "Save your money, kid." So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and call him, and then bomb the river, and then the river come a 3. Now, I don't have no showdown value, so that's why I wanted to bomb the river. No matter what card come out, I wanted to bomb the river. But that changed. As soon as before the even 3 came, he pushed $100 stack out there, and that's when I changed my mind, and I didn't think I could push him off this hand. So, and that was my plan the whole time, was to push him off the river. It was either push him off the turn or the river. So, and I folded, and he shows. Can you believe this? He calls me $35 pre-flop with ace 7 offsuit. So this guy calls me $35 with ace 7 offsuit from the small blind. Insane, I tell you, insane. I said, wow, you called me with that, huh? I said, nice hand. I mean, I don't know, ace 7 offsuit, man. You let me know down below what you think of that. Next hand.
Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
So this next hand, we run in. This is the same guy now. The same guy that called me with an ace 7 now. This is the last hand we're going to talk about. Now, after that hand, when he called me with an ace 7, I said, you know what? Let him do it again. Please let him do it again. So, I mean, I'll take it any day. You know what I mean? He got lucky that time, so that's okay. So, we look at an ace queen off from the middle position. So, I open it up for $18. You got 4 callers. It's insane, man. 4 callers on $18. They just want to see a flop, man. For some reason, everybody wants to see a flop. Well, most people in that table, which I was loving. I really was. So we go 4 people to the flop, and the flop come queen deuce 6 rainbow. So under the gun, this is the same guy that called me with an ace 7, ace 7 off. I know, I'm emphasizing it. I want you to see towards the end of this. Anyway, so he bets $10. There's 18 times 4 in the pot, and he bets $10. So I was like, it's a good thing he bet $10 and 2 people behind him called, and then I 3-bet to $60. He calls, the other 2 folds. So we go to the turn, and the turn come a 6. 60. So he checks to me, and then I immediately push all my chips all in. And he sat there and tanked for a minute and tanked for a minute. And he said, he asked me, you want me to call? I said, it's up to you. He said, did you get any of that? I said, yeah, I think I got something out of that board. And then he said, would you show me if I fold? So now, when somebody tells me something like that, well, what I've seen so far, that for the most part, when they tell you that they'll show it to you, that they're pretty weak. Maybe they're worried, you know. Just from my observation, what I've seen so far. So I told him, yeah, I'll show it to you, man. Oh, I forgot to mention, there are 2 spades out there. But I knew he was on the draw, and I'm guessing he called me again with some crazy-ass cards. Anyway, and sure enough, he folds, man. I don't know how he could fold that. He had so many outs, you know. After the turn, he had so many outs. So King 4 spades, that's what he had. So he was looking at, he could have hit any king. He could have hit a gut shot and a flush possibility. So he had a lot of outs this time. So anyway, he folds, and then I wasn't gonna show it to him. I wanted to tilt him, but I was like, you know what? I'll show it to him. I showed him ace queen, and he said, you didn't even have nothing. I said, okay, no, I didn't have anything. He didn't see I had top, you know. But overall, man, that the overall result of the night, we win a little bit. So I'm a little happy about that, but you know what I'm mostly happy about? I was not the fish that night. Not the big fish. Anyway, that was the end of it, man. Until next time.